So a question that I get a lot is, will AI replace my work or my thought leadership or my expertise? And the answer is a resounding no, but only if you can trust what I'm about to tell you. So first thing is, you can't compete with generative AI on speed. It is always going to be faster than we can produce. But that is actually a good thing because great work isn't produced on macro or micro speed. It's actually built by being able to outline your frameworks, tell your stories, and then communicate them in a way that actually speaks to people's both emotional and rational minds. And although AI can do some of the writing for you, it can't replace that patterning of thought that comes from the real human. The other thing is, right now, as you're listening to this video, the truth is, this is really me. I don't have a clone of myself speaking like Jen Kem. And although that's an opportunity, and I've heard and thought leaders have asked me, should I do that so that I can be better at marketing my thought leadership in my sleep? I'm like, bad idea. Here's why. What we know is that younger generations, the younger millennials, the Gen Zs, and the Gen Alphas are actually holistically rejecting any type of cloned data. In fact, so much so, OpenAI, who is obviously one of the biggest players in generative AI, they are the makers or the creators of ChatGPT. They actually just shut down a billion-dollar business called Sora, which is AI generated videos that lots of creators were using to help support their marketing and their social media. But do you know why they shut it down? Now, they said it's because they were trying to focus just on enterprise AI. But the truth is that there were a lot of Reddit and other threads talking about how people want a return to real. So while the AI noise is around us at the moment, as a thought leader, you're not going to stand out if you zig while everyone is zigging. You have to zag. You have to still know who you are, teach what you know, double down on the storytelling around it. If you're going to use AI, use it to help you with productivity, not replace your creativity. So what I mean by that is, don't build a clone of yourself. Don't use AI apps to run your entire YouTube channel, right? Don't run AI apps to write for you on important platforms like Substack or LinkedIn. Instead, use AI as an operational partner, right? Use AI to help you make sure that all your emails get read. Those things that you actually hate doing, right? Make sure that it gives you a weekly to-do list, a checklist. In the Thought Leadership Collective, we do this method to get more sales, more brand recognition, and to be on our way to finish our best-selling books called the 3x3 method. And instead, I'd rather use AI to tell you to actually do that every day versus do the writing and the speaking to replace what that could be. It's that type of thought leadership activity that's going to stand out because right now, as you're listening to this, there's a bell curve when it comes to AI adoption, generative AI adoption. And so don't confuse using AI or being replaced with AI with actually using AI for the right thing as a thought leader. Using AI, again, for productivity is the more appropriate and long-standing scalable way to actually use AI, and instead get to the craft of your thought leadership. Focus on like really sharpening your frameworks, being able to tell those narrative stories in a way that support that your frameworks help people solve their problems. So yeah, you can't compete with AI for speed, but if you're competing with something that does crappy stuff fast, then it's actually not worth your time anyway. And it also can ruin your reputation. And at the end of the day, who's going to pop up and be noticed are the people who are actually owning their humanity, that they're owning their thoughts, that they're helping people think differently. And that's what a thought leader does. And that's how they sell their expertise better because they're able to share how they do things different, not how everyone should stay the same. And that's what AI does that you won't ever do if you stand firmly in your thought leadership. And by the way, this is the kind of work we're doing inside the Thought Leadership Collective. We're not just teaching strategy to publish a book. We're building resilient, personalized brands that actually stand the test of time. If you want to be invited to our next open house, subscribe to the Brandcast newsletter. The link is in the description box below. I'm sure you're wondering, okay, Jen, so you kind of gave me a forecast and you kind of told me how to be, but what am I, Jen Kem, actually doing? What am I doing to, as a thought leader, to actually use AI for productivity versus replace my creativity? So number one is I'm letting AI handle a lot of my personal tasks. In fact, when people ask me, hey, Jen, if you had to start over again, what would you do now that you know more or know better? The first thing I would have done back in the day when I was basically side hustling while I had my corporate job and I was starting my entrepreneurial business and wanting my thought leadership to live outside of my corporate career, I said before that I would have found a way to get somebody to clean my house every week because I had two younger kids and, my culture would say, and as a woman would say, that's not worth spending money on. You should still clean the house, clean the dishes, and do all the things. And now looking back, if I would have spent and put like a budget of $300 a month towards somebody tidying my house once a week, that would have given me easily 20 hours a month back that I could have put into my business. And those 20 hours are worth more than the $300 I was paying, right? So in that similar vein, when it comes to AI and what AI can do for me from a productivity perspective, I start looking at like, what are those things that my identity as a thought leader doesn't need, but would cover some of the bases that take me a lot of time. An example is Thanksgiving. I know it sounds simple and it sounds like, what does this have to do with your thought leadership? It has a lot to do with your thought leadership because do you know how long it takes to prepare a Thanksgiving dinner for 25 Filipinos in your family? Like it's a lot, okay? And so I was committed because my mom's house wasn't available this year and I was deputized to be the house for Thanksgiving. And so instead of like worrying, should I get all my social media up using generative AI? I actually asked AI, hey, help me prepare the most delicious Thanksgiving dinner. And in order to create a great Thanksgiving dinner, it doesn't happen the day of Thanksgiving. It happens with like at least 10 days of prep work, right? And so it gave me my grocery list. It gave me every day that I had to prep something small in order to hit the actual day that we were cooking. And then the day of, it actually took me the times to put stuff in the oven, take things out of the fridge, all the parts where you feel like you have to be an octopus. AI helped me do that. And that saved me, no joke, probably another 20 hours that month that I would, and not just the hours, but the overwhelm and the resentment and the frustration and that energy I didn't need when I'm running a business full time, right? I needed my energy to be reserved for still showing up and filming my YouTube videos, still working on my next newsletter for the week, still being able to have my calls with clients and being energetically available for them without feeling the guilt, the shame, and the stress of a holiday thing. Now, some people will just tell you, just don't do the holidays at all. Again, maybe that's for you. For me and our family, those family times are very important to me. And I'm big on you choose the life how you want to design it. And if you want your thought leadership to be your business, your brand authority, and you're interested in writing books that change people's lives, you actually have to look at where can you get support in the areas of your life that have nothing to do with that, but actually keep you from being more present as a thought leader. And for me, it's stuff like that. Now, that's an example of a personal thing that I use AI for. But another example is in business. Earlier, I said, like, use it for like maybe checking your emails. Well, I use Claude Cowork. That is one of the tools that I use to actually every day check my inbox to see if there are any open loop conversations and then put them in a folder for me to be able to follow up on. That alone, and I have a executive assistant too, and it supports her in organizing that all for me and prioritizing what needs my attention today, what needs my attention maybe next week, and helps me prioritize those things. So again, that my energy isn't leaking. That's why I don't use Claude for generative AI. I don't use it to write my words. I use it to actually like delegate tasks to, and then put them in front of me so that I have more accountability around what has to get done, even the stuff I'm not really excited about doing, including following up on emails. But I know that they have to be done. But it helps make it as easy as possible for me to get to the task that I'm avoiding by doing all of the busy work leading up to it. So those are two examples, both personal and business, that I use AI for.